Welcome to Fantasybites. I'm your host, Matthew. Today's video is Crystal Ball. In the Crystal Ball series, we will be going over players to stash this week in order to play them in a plus matchup the following week. Therefore, we are focusing on players to stash during week 3 that have plus matchups in week 4. All players are on less than 50% of ESPN rosters. First up at quarterback, we have Mitchell Trubisky. Although Trubisky had a below-average performance last week against the Giants, he did have a good first half before throwing 2 picks in the second half. As long as Trubisky doesn't turn the ball over, he should be startable against the Colts in week 4. Look for Trubisky to throw around 3 TDs for 200 yards, maybe rush for around 30, and hope that he avoids throwing a pick against the Indianapolis defense. Next up, we have Gardner Minshew. Minshew has impressed as the Jaguars starter early on this season. Although he had 2 picks on Sunday versus the Titans, one of which was tipped by his own receiver, he scored over 20 fantasy points again. In week 3, he will play the Dolphins on Thursday night, and the following week he will play the Bengals, who will be another positive matchup for Minshew. Try and pick up Minshew before the Thursday night game, and be ready to start him against a lackluster Bengals team in week 4. Next up, we have tight end Jordan Reed. The often injured Jordan Reed had a great day on Sunday versus the Jets. While Reed's playability depends on Kittle's availability, he should be worth a flyer as long as there is any question about Kittle being able to play. We know how good Reed can be as long as he isn't injured, and if the opportunity is there for a week or 2, it could be worth a shot if you need to take it. Next, we have Houston tight end Jordan Akins. Houston receivers have not been very reliable so far this year, but Akins has scored over 10 fantasy points 2 weeks in a row. He will most likely not score a touchdown week to week, but he received a bump in targets in week 2 and will face a weak Minnesota defense in week 4, who just gave Mo Alley-Cox his first good fantasy performance of his career. Akins is a low ceiling kind of play, but his floor should be high enough that he won't kill you in week 4 if you're in a pinch and need a tight end with a good matchup. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals defense. The Cardinals basically shut down the Washington football team for almost the entire game last Sunday. In week 4, they will go against Carolina, who will be without fantasy superstar Christian McCaffrey. The Cardinals defense might turn into a weekly play, given the matchup of course, but the real-life defense has shown that they can hang with the best of them. Last up, we have the Tampa Bay defense. Although the Chargers looked good against the Chiefs on Sunday, this should still remain a positive matchup to stream against for DST. Tampa Bay plays the Chargers in week 4, which should be an easily streamable matchup for the Bucs. After a rough week 1, Tampa was able to generate 4 turnovers against Carolina in week 2. Look to stash them this week so that you can play them next week. Alright, that'll be it for today's video. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and even share the content if you enjoyed it.